Hello, and welcome to Book Cheat Sheet. Today, we'll be discussing Confessions of an Advertising Man by David Ogilvy. The author, Ogilvy himself, tells the story of his remarkable journey as an advertising genius and shares his profound insights about life and career. Who is David Ogilvy? He's the founder of Ogilvy and Mather, one of the world's top 5 advertising agencies. Time magazine hailed him as the most sought-after wizard in today's advertising industry, while the New York Times dubbed him as the most creative force in modern advertising. In 1982, France's Expansion magazine published a special report on the Industrial Revolution, listing 11 influential figures. David Ogilvy was named alongside luminaries such as Edison, Einstein, Lenin, and Marx. The magazine even crowned him as the Pope of modern advertising. Beyond this autobiography, he authored other influential works including An Advertising Man's Confessions, Ogilvy on Advertising, and The Unpublished David Ogilvy. These books are considered the Bible of advertising, essential reading for every advertising professional, and represent Ogilvy's invaluable legacy to the global advertising community. At this point, you might assume that this advertising pope must have been a natural-born creative genius, exuding creativity from childhood. It's like the story of Lang Lang, the renowned pianist who could play melodies without instruction at age 2.5, coming from a family with a strong musical background. If we were to apply Lang Lang's success trajectory to Ogilvy, you might expect him to have been immersed in advertising literature from childhood, or at least come from a literary family. But the reality was quite different. He wrote his first advertisement at age 39 when he founded Ogilvy and Mather. Before establishing the agency, Ogilvy devoted 2/3 of his book to describing his varied career experiences at different ages. He worked as a chef in Paris, sold stoves in Scotland, conducted surveys for Hollywood, served in intelligence operations, and even worked as a farmer at age 38. By advertising industry standards, he was a late bloomer. From a traditional career planning perspective, Ogilvy's frequent job changes and career shifts might seem detrimental to professional development. Moreover, none of his jobs before age 38 had any connection to advertising. However, consider Steve Jobs, who was kicked out by his board of directors only to return as Apple's CEO at age 42. Perhaps this helps us understand Ogilvy's later success in advertising. Only after experiencing life's harsh realities repeatedly can one's words carry the power to touch hearts deeply. Ogilvy's diverse experiences before age 38 helped him better understand life and clarify what he truly wanted. This led him to enter advertising, attempting to master the art of persuasion. Ogilvy believed that to persuade through advertising, one must first break with tradition. In that era, advertising was just emerging, and most practitioners were still focused on showing off their technical skills. But Ogilvy took the opposite approach, believing that advertising should highlight the product itself to achieve sales goals. Mere technical showmanship couldn't build a brand. Let's explore Ogilvy's secrets to becoming a creative genius through 2 aspects: advertising marketing and brand building. The first secret: clarify that advertising isn't about showing off, it's about selling products. Ogilvy consistently maintained one principle: advertising exists to sell products. Otherwise, it isn't advertising. This means advertising doesn't need fancy rhetoric or profound writing skills. Instead, it should downplay the advertisement itself, highlight the product, and make the sale. This statement might seem obvious today, but shouting it in the advertising industry half a century ago was like declaring war on tradition. Why? Because it was an era when the advertising industry was particularly restless. The field was just emerging and hadn't earned proper respect, yet advertisers wanted to position themselves as incredibly important. Most advertisements at the time were deliberately mysterious and pretentious, with many trying to dress up advertising as an art form or technique. Ogilvy tore through this facade, openly admitting that advertising isn't art. It exists purely to sell products. Take, for example, how other advertisers described the new Rolls-Royce. They used flowery phrases like majestic elegance and seamlessly refined bodywork. In contrast, Ogilvy's newspaper advertisement showed a well-dressed man sitting in a new Rolls-Royce waiting at a traffic light, with this simple text: "At 60 miles per hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls-Royce comes from the electric clock." Notice how this advertisement used no fancy rhetoric, just language everyone could understand, yet it effectively highlighted the Rolls-Royce's superior sound insulation. This advertisement multiplied Rolls-Royce's sales several times over and became Ogilvy's signature work. Another classic example is his campaign for Hathaway shirts. It was a modest account with only a $30,000 budget. Ogilvy proposed several concepts but ultimately chose a cost-effective solution. He bought an eye patch from a drugstore and had the model wear it. While others couldn't accept the idea of a model looking like an odd pirate with one eye covered, Ogilvy insisted. He believed the eye patch would create an air of both reliability and mystery, making the shirts appear unique and distinctive. It communicated to readers that only by wearing a Hathaway shirt are you truly different. The campaign was an instant success, achieving legendary status with minimal advertising budget and maximum speed. The Hathaway Man with the Eye Patch campaign ran for 19 years, proving that sometimes provocative imagery can be more impactful than words. Then there's his famous Dove soap advertisement stating it contains 1/4 moisturizing cream that helps moisturize your skin while you shower. This campaign continues today, and we can see many article headlines still borrowing from this advertising approach. By using the quantified 1/4 moisturizing cream, he conveyed to readers that this wasn't just soap, it had an additional moisturizing benefit. While other soaps also contained the same proportion of moisturizing ingredients, no one thought to highlight this industry-standard feature as a selling point. This approach of taking what everyone in the industry knew and making it meaningful to consumers exemplifies Ogilvy's genius. He turned common knowledge into compelling marketing, creating the impression that only Dove used this special formula. This technique of using numbers to attract readers' attention is still widely used by media editors today. These three advertisements share a common characteristic. Ogilvy rarely used adjectives. While his ads appeared factual, he firmly denied being a realist. In Ogilvy's rules, creativity was a constantly emphasized word. He believed that one great idea is better than 10 mediocre ones. Regarding talent management, Ogilvy's approach stands in stark contrast to the common business practice of fearing subordinates who might outshine their superiors. For example, Tesla worked for Edison but eventually left due to Edison's inability to accept and nurture talent that might overshadow him. Ogilvy took the opposite approach, actively seeking and promoting brilliant minds that could surpass his own abilities. In a memorable board meeting, Ogilvy presented each director with a Russian nesting doll. Inside the smallest doll was a note that read, "If you always hire people who are smaller than you, we'll become a company of dwarfs. But if you always hire people who are bigger than you, we'll become a company of giants." His method for retaining talent was straightforward. When he discovered someone more talented than himself, he hired them immediately, sometimes offering higher salaries than his own. Ogilvy and Mather maintained a culture where hierarchy was minimal and everyone was on a first-name basis. He strived to make every employee believe they were working at the world's best advertising agency. Regarding work ethic, Ogilvy believed in leading by example. He would wake at 5 a.m., prepare 3 briefings before breakfast, work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and continue working after dinner. Even on weekends, he would write over 150 memos, letters, and notes. Unlike many executives who demand long hours from their staff while taking it easy themselves, Ogilvy worked harder than anyone else. The key lessons from David Ogilvy's autobiography aren't just about his success or Ogilvy and Mather's management methods. After all, legends aren't replicable, and management styles that worked for one company might not work for another. Different eras have different clients, different demands, and different challenges. What we should really learn from Ogilvy is an attitude, an approach to treating every job with utmost seriousness and excellence. In today's fast-paced world, we worry about keeping up with knowledge, job opportunities, and the future, but few have the patience and perseverance to gradually hone their skills in each job, preparing for greater opportunities. Take each step carefully. Let yourself grow like a rolling snowball gathering mass. Even at age 39, when it might seem like life is half over, you can still reach your peak. The key question is, do you have the patience and confidence to wait for that moment? The essence of Ogilvy's success wasn't just his creative genius in advertising or his business acumen. It was his understanding that true success comes from consistent excellence, continuous learning, and the courage to challenge conventions while maintaining unwavering integrity in one's work. Remember, it's never too late to achieve greatness. What matters most is not when you start, but how dedicated you are to mastering your craft and building something truly meaningful.